Little Miss Kiss Mafia boss to make ex-boyfriend jealous. The Grandview Hotel ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and 500 guests, but Laura Mills only saw one person. Derek stood by the champagne fountain with a woman who looked like she'd stepped off a magazine cover, his laugh carrying across the room, carefree, victorious, completely unbothered by the heart he'd shattered 3 months ago. Laura's grip tightened on her champagne flute. She'd spent hours getting ready, choosing the perfect dress, styling her hair. All to prove she was fine. Thriving. But Derek hadn't even glanced her direction. "You're staring," Michelle whispered. "Stop giving him the satisfaction." "I'm strategizing," Laura said, draining her champagne in one gulp. Before Michelle could stop her, Laura was moving. She needed a statement. Something bold that would make Derek's perfect smile crack. Her eyes swept the ballroom and found him. Tall, broad-shouldered, muscular build barely contained by his tailored suit. Dark hair, sharp jawline, an expression of calculated boredom. While everyone mingled, he observed with predatory stillness. Perfect. Laura crossed the ballroom, her heart hammering. The man's dark eyes tracked her approach. "I need you to do me a favor," she said. One eyebrow lifted. "Do I know you?" "Not yet." Laura glanced back. Derek was watching. "But you're about to." She grabbed his tie and kissed him. The world exploded. His lips were firm, controlled. Then his hand came to her neck, fingers threading through her hair with possessiveness that sent electricity down her spine. When she pulled back, his dark eyes had turned molten. His hand remained in her hair, keeping her close. "You should have checked the price tag before you bought this kiss, Laura," he rumbled. Ice flooded her veins. "How do you know my name?" His smile was slow, dangerous, lethal. "Because I know everything about you." Behind her, someone dropped a glass. Silence spread through the ballroom. People backed away, creating empty space around them. He released her hair but caught her wrist, his grip gentle but unbreakable. He leaned down, lips brushing her ear. "My name is Ronnie Lawson. And you just signed a contract in front of everyone who matters." Lawson. The Lawson family. The most powerful criminal organization on the Eastern Seaboard. She just kissed a mafia boss. "I didn't," she started. His thumb pressed against her racing pulse. "Too late, sweetheart. You're mine now." The ballroom froze. Ronnie's grip on Laura's wrist didn't loosen as he turned them to face the crowd, his other hand settling possessively on her back. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice carried absolute authority. "Allow me to introduce Laura Mills. My woman." Whispers erupted. Phones appeared. Laura felt Derek's stare, saw his face pale with recognition. "Wait," Laura whispered urgently. "This is a mistake. Make your ex-boyfriend jealous?" Ronnie's smile was cruel. Mission accomplished. Derek stood frozen, the magazine cover woman forgotten. His expression had moved past shock into horror. Ronnie, a silver-haired man, approached carefully. "I didn't realize you were bringing a date." "Neither did I. Until she made her claim." "I didn't claim anything," Laura protested weakly. Ronnie pulled her against his side. "You kissed me in front of the 5 families, Laura. In this world, that means something." "What world?" "I don't understand." "You will." He nodded to the silver-haired man. "Excuse us. My fiancé and I have much to discuss." "Fiancé?" Laura's voice cracked. But Ronnie was moving, guiding her toward the exit. People parted like water, their faces showing shock, fear, fascination. Laura caught one last glimpse of Derek paralyzed by the fountain. This wasn't what she'd wanted. This was so much worse. Outside, a black SUV waited. Ronnie guided Laura inside with inexorable pressure. "Please," Laura said as he slid beside her. "This is insane. Let me go home." "Forget?" Ronnie's laugh was dark. "Laura, you've been photographed kissing me by 50 phones. Those photos are circulating through every criminal network. You're marked as mine. Do you understand what that means?" Laura realized she didn't have her purse, phone, keys. Everything was inside. "It means every enemy I have sees you as a way to hurt me. Every rival family is calculating if kidnapping you would give them leverage. You made yourself a target the moment your lips touched mine. So you'll protect me for a few days until things calm down?" Ronnie turned to face her fully. In the passing streetlights, his expression was absolutely serious. "No, Laura. I'll protect you forever. Because nothing given to a Lawson is ever returned." His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. "You wanted to make a statement? Congratulations. You just told the world you belong to me. I don't belong to anyone. You do now." His eyes held hers, dark and inevitable. "And by morning, everyone who matters will know your face, your name, and exactly how much you're worth to me." "How much is that?" Ronnie's smile was terrifying in its sincerity. "Everything." Laura woke in a bedroom that wasn't hers, in a bed too luxurious to afford. For a moment, she thought she'd dreamed it all. Then she saw her dress draped over a chair, and reality crashed back. She wore silk pajamas she didn't own, in a room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city from at least 40 floors up. The decor screamed money and power. She didn't remember changing. Didn't remember falling asleep. The door opened before she could reach it. A woman in her 50s entered with a breakfast tray. "Good morning, Miss Mills. Mr. Lawson asked me to bring you something to eat." "Where am I? Where's my phone?" "You're in Mr. Lawson's penthouse. Your belongings are being collected from your apartment." "Collected? You mean stolen?" "Relocated. For your safety. Mr. Lawson has terminated your lease and returned your security deposit." Laura's hands clenched. "He can't just, I didn't agree to any of this. You kissed him at the Grandview Gala. That was agreement enough. One kiss doesn't mean I want to move in. In Mr. Lawson's world, one kiss means everything." The woman moved toward the door. "I suggest you eat. Mr. Lawson will want to see you in an hour." Laura tried the door, unlocked. She moved through the penthouse, taking in intimidating luxury. Everything meticulously organized. No personal photos, no warmth. Just power and control. The elevator required a key card she didn't have. The stairwell was locked. Every window sealed. She was trapped 40 floors above the city in a gilded cage. Looking for an exit? Laura spun to find Ronnie in casual clothes, dark jeans and a fitted black shirt showcasing his muscular frame. He looked different in daylight, less dangerous stranger and more like a man who could bench press a car. "You can't keep me here. This is kidnapping. This is protection." Ronnie leaned against the doorframe. "Did you see the morning news?" "No." "Come here." It wasn't a request. He guided her into his office with multiple monitors displaying news feeds and security footage. One screen showed their kiss. The headline, "Mystery Woman Claims Lawson King's Heart." "That's just gossip," Laura started. Ronnie clicked to another feed showing her apartment building surrounded by police tape. Break in overnight. Her apartment specifically. Laura's blood went cold. What? The Blackwood Vipers. A rival organization. They sent a team to grab you 8 hours after our kiss. Fortunately, I'd already moved you. Laura stared at her violated home, knees weakening. Ronnie's hand steadied her. This is what I tried to tell you. You marked yourself as mine. Now everyone who wants to hurt me will come for you. The only safe place is here, with me, where I control every entrance and exit. For how long? For as long as it takes. As long as what takes? He turned her to face him. As long as it takes for you to understand that you're not a hostage, Laura. You're under my protection. There's a difference. Feels the same from where I'm standing. Does it? His thumb traced her lower lip. I could have left you in your apartment. Let the Vipers take you. Claimed I didn't care about some random woman who kissed me. His dark eyes held hers. But I brought you here instead. Fed you, cloaked you, stationed 6 armed guards at every exit. Does that feel like kidnapping? Yes, Laura said, but her voice wavered. Ronnie smiled slightly. Liar. 3 days passed in surreal suspension. Laura had her own room, access to the entire penthouse, anything delivered within hours. Clothes appeared in her closet, designer labels in her exact size. Books she'd mentioned materialized on her nightstand. The chef prepared her favorite foods without asking. Surveillance disguised as luxury. You've been watching me, Laura accused on the 4th morning, finding Ronnie reviewing shipping manifests. Long before the gala. Yes. The casual admission hit harder than denial would have. Why? Because you interested me. That's not an answer. He looked up, setting down his pen. 6 months ago, you walked past one of my clubs. A drunk man grabbed you. You broke his nose with your purse and told him exactly where he could shove his apology. I watched from my office window. Laura remembered that night, leaving work late, cutting through an unfamiliar neighborhood. I started researching you, Ronnie continued. Laura Mills. 26. Art gallery manager. Likes true crime podcasts and Thai food. Dated Derek Matthews for 2 years before he cheated with his secretary. His eyes held hers. You deserved better. So you stalked me. Protected you. There's a difference. Ronnie stood, moving with predatory grace. I made sure you got home safely every night. Made sure the drunk never bothered you again. Made sure Derek's pathetic attempts to contact you failed. The flowers that went missing. Intercepted. He didn't deserve to send you anything. The job interview that got mysteriously cancelled. That company had connections to the Blackwood Vipers. I wasn't letting you anywhere near them. Laura backed until she hit the desk. You've been controlling my life for 6 months. I've been protecting it. Ronnie stopped in front of her, presence overwhelming. And at that gala, when I saw you walking toward me with that determined look, I knew exactly what you were going to do. Then why didn't you stop me? His smile was devastating. Because I wanted you to do it. I'd been waiting for an excuse to claim you, Laura. You gift-wrapped it for me. The confession should have terrified her. Instead, she felt something dangerous unfurl, not quite fear, not quite attraction. Something darker. You manipulated me. Yes. You made sure I'd kiss you in front of everyone who mattered. Yes. Why? His hand cupped her face. Because in my world, Laura, the only way to keep something precious is to make sure everyone knows it belongs to you. To make the cost of taking it so high that thinking about it becomes suicide. I'm not a possession. No, he agreed. You're something far more valuable. You're mine. Laura should have slapped him. Should have screamed. Should have demanded freedom. Instead, she heard herself ask, "What does that mean? Being yours?" Ronnie's expression shifted, becoming intense and almost reverent. "It means I would burn this city to the ground before I let anyone hurt you. It means every resource I have, every man who works for me, every favor I'm owed, all of it exists to keep you safe. It means you'll never be alone, never be afraid, never be anything less than the queen of my empire. And what do you get in return?" His thumb brushed her lower lip. "Everything. Your trust. Your time. Eventually, if I'm patient enough, your heart. You can't buy someone's heart. I'm not buying it." Ronnie leaned closer. "I'm earning it. One protected day at a time." The intercom crackled. "Sir, we have a situation." Ronnie's expression hardened instantly. "What kind?" "The Vipers. They've sent a message." "Show me." A screen lit up displaying a photograph that made Laura's stomach drop. Michelle, bound to a chair, tears streaming. Text overlaid, "Trade, Mills for Matthews." "Oh my God," Laura breathed. "They took Michelle. They want to trade her for me." Ronnie's jaw clenched. "They won't hurt her. She's only valuable if you're willing to exchange yourself." "Then I'll do it." Laura grabbed his arm. "Ronnie, she's my best friend. Let them take me instead." "No. You can't." "I said no." Ronnie turned, genuine rage burning in his eyes. "They think you're my weakness. They think threatening your friend will make me trade you like currency. They're about to learn they miscalculated." He pulled out his phone. "Vincent. Gather the men. I want the Viper's warehouse location within the hour. Tell Marcus the treaty is suspended until they return what they stole." "Ronnie, please," Laura begged. "Michelle didn't do anything wrong." He ended the call and pulled Laura against him. "Neither did you, Laura. But they hurt you anyway by taking her. So now I'm going to teach them what happens when you touch anything that belongs to me." "How?" His smile was terrifying. "By showing them why people call me the law. And in my court, there's only one sentence for this crime." "What sentence?" "Death." They got Michelle back within 6 hours. Laura didn't know the details. Ronnie disappeared with hard-faced men, emerging with bruised knuckles and blood on his shirt that wasn't his. Michelle appeared 30 minutes later, shaken but unharmed, delivered by Ronnie's men. She threw herself into Laura's arms, sobbing. "I'm so sorry," Laura whispered. "This is all my fault. They said you kissed some mafia boss and now you're his property." "Laura, what the hell is happening?" Laura couldn't explain. Didn't know how to put the impossible situation into words. She just held Michelle while Ronnie arranged a car with security detail to watch her apartment for the next month. "If they come near her again," Ronnie told his men, voice cold as winter, "you shoot first and ask questions never." "Understood." After Michelle left, the penthouse felt oppressively quiet. Laura found Ronnie on the balcony, staring at the city below. The bruises on his knuckles had darkened. "Thank you," Laura said quietly. "Don't thank me. This happened because of me. It happened because I used you as a prop to make my ex jealous." Laura wrapped her arms around herself. "You warned me there would be consequences." Ronnie was silent for a long moment. "You want to know what I did tonight?" Laura wasn't sure she did, but she nodded. I walked into that warehouse and killed 3 men. Shot 2, broke the third one's neck with my bare hands. Then I found the man who gave the order to take Michelle, and I made him beg for mercy before I ended him. He turned to look at her. Does that frighten you? It should have. But all she felt was terrible, complicated relief that Michelle was safe. Should it? Most people would say yes. I'm not most people. Apparently I'm the woman who kisses mafia bosses at galas. His lips twitched. Apparently. They stood in silence, the city sprawling below like a game board. Laura felt the shift happening inside her, the slow, inexorable acceptance that her old life was gone. How long until it's safe for me to leave? Ronnie's expression went carefully blank. Is that what you want? To leave? I don't know what I want anymore. 3 days ago, my biggest problem was avoiding my ex. Now people are dying because I kissed you. They're dying because they threatened what's mine. Ronnie caught her wrist, pulling her closer. There's a difference. Everything with you has a difference. Yes. His thumb traced patterns on her inner wrist. And you need to understand the most important one. Which is the difference between being a hostage and being protected. Between being owned and being claimed. Between being trapped, his other hand cupped her face, and being home. This isn't my home. Not yet. Ronnie's expression was intense, almost vulnerable. But it could be. If you let it. You're asking me to accept living in a cage. I'm asking you to accept living in a fortress. He leaned closer. With me as your guard. Your partner. Your. The window exploded inward. Ronnie reacted instantly, throwing Laura to the ground and covering her as glass rained around them. Gunfire erupted, sharp cracks punching through the night. Stay down. Ronnie shouted, pulling a gun and firing 3 shots through the shattered window. A scream came from outside. More gunfire. Ronnie dragged her toward the door, his body shielding hers. They made it inside as something exploded on the balcony, sending heat and smoke into the penthouse. What's happening? The Vipers. They're not accepting their losses quietly. He pulled her through the penthouse with military precision. Phone already at his ear. We're under attack. Get everyone up here now. They reached a panic room, steel-reinforced walls, multiple monitors, enough weapons for a small army. Ronnie pushed Laura inside. Stay here. Don't open this door for anyone but me. Wait, Laura grabbed his arm. Where are you going? To end this. His eyes were cold, lethal. They just made the biggest mistake of their short lives. Ronnie. He kissed her. Hard, possessive, terrifyingly brief. I'll come back to you, Laura. I promise. Then he was gone, and Laura was alone in the panic room while gunfire echoed through what was supposed to be the safest place in the city. She'd wanted to make a statement at that gala. Now people were dying because of it. The gunfire lasted 17 minutes. Laura counted every second, huddled in the panic room with arms wrapped around her knees. The monitors showed angles of the penthouse, but most cameras had been destroyed. She caught glimpses of Ronnie moving through smoke and shadow, gun raised, movements precise and deadly. Then, silence. Laura stared at the door, heart hammering. The monitors showed nothing but empty rooms and shattered glass. Had Ronnie won? Was he hurt? Dead? The panic room door opened. Laura nearly screamed before recognizing him. Ronnie stood there, blood on his face and shirt, expression grim. But alive. Whole. It's over, he said quietly. Laura launched herself at him, not caring about the blood or violence. She just needed to know he was real, solid, safe. Ronnie caught her, arms closing around her with surprising gentleness. "You're hurt," Laura said, examining his face. "You're bleeding." "Not my blood." He cupped her face, thumb brushing away tears she hadn't realized she was crying. "Are you okay?" "Am I?" Laura laughed, broken. "You were just in a gunfight and you're asking if I'm okay?" "Always." His expression was absolutely serious. "You're the only thing that matters." They stayed wrapped in each other while smoke hung in the air. Then Ronnie's phone buzzed. "The building is secure," Ronnie said after checking. "My men are doing a full sweep. But we can't stay here tonight. Too many structural compromises." "Where will we go?" "I have a safe house outside the city." He released her reluctantly. "Pack what you need. We leave in 10 minutes." Laura moved through the destroyed penthouse like a ghost, gathering essentials. The beautiful space she'd started feeling comfortable in was now a war zone: bullet holes, shattered glass, blood on expensive carpet. This was Ronnie's world. Violence dressed in luxury. Power paid for in blood. They were in the car, speeding through dark streets, when Laura finally asked the burning question. "Why didn't you tell me?" Ronnie glanced at her. "Tell you what?" "That you'd been watching me for 6 months. That you'd manipulated the gala. That you'd been waiting for me to give you an excuse to claim me." Laura turned to face him. "Why let me think it was all coincidence?" Ronnie was quiet, hands steady on the wheel. When he spoke, his voice was softer than she'd ever heard. "Because I wanted you to choose me. Even if you didn't know you were choosing." "That doesn't make sense." "It does to me." He merged onto the highway, city falling away. "If I'd told you from the beginning that I'd been protecting you, watching you, wanting you, you would have run. Called the police. Gotten a restraining order. You would have done everything to get away from me. Maybe I should have. Maybe." Ronnie's smile was sad. "But then you kissed me at that gala. You chose me, Laura. Not consciously, not with full information, but you chose me. And in that moment, I had the excuse I'd been waiting for to keep you safe the only way I know how. By locking me in a penthouse. By making you so valuable to me that anyone who touches you signs their own death warrant." His hand found hers. "I can't protect you from a distance, Laura. I tried for 6 months, and you were still in danger. The only way to keep you truly safe is to make sure everyone knows you're mine." Laura stared at their joined hands. His knuckles bruised, palm rough with calluses. A killer's hands, holding hers with unexpected gentleness. "What if I don't want to be yours?" Ronnie's grip tightened. "Then I'll let you go." Laura looked at him sharply. "Just like that?" "No. Not just like that. I'll station guards at your apartment. I'll watch from a distance. I'll make sure you're safe even if you hate me for it." His jaw clenched. "But if you truly want to leave, Laura, I won't stop you. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a man who holds women against their will. Except you already did. You moved me into your penthouse without asking. To save your life. The Vipers would have taken you that first night if I hadn't. Would you rather I left you to them?" Laura didn't have an answer. She turned to stare out the window. The truth was complicated, messy. Yes, Ronnie had taken her. But he'd also protected her, saved Michelle, killed to keep her safe. "There's a folder," Ronnie said quietly. In the glove compartment. Laura opened it, finding a manila envelope. Inside were photographs, dozens. Laura leaving work, grocery shopping, at the park. 6 months of surveillance, carefully documented. But there was something else. Articles about Derek. His affairs, debts, connections to shady real estate deals. Information that hadn't been public when they were dating. You investigated him. I did. Why? Because he hurt you. Ronnie's voice was flat, cold. Because he made you doubt yourself. Because the night you caught him cheating, you cried in your car for 20 minutes before driving home, and I wanted to kill him for putting that pain in your eyes. Laura stared at the folder, overwhelmed. You barely knew me. I knew enough. Ronnie pulled off the highway onto a dark country road. I knew you deserved better than Derek Matthews. Better than a job that underpaid you. Better than walking home alone through dangerous neighborhoods because you were too proud to call a cab. So you decided to rescue me? No. Ronnie glanced at her, expression raw. I decided to earn you. I decided that if I was patient enough, careful enough, maybe someday you'd see past the violence and power and control. Maybe you'd see me. The safe house appeared ahead, a modern structure hidden among trees. Ronnie pulled into the garage, and they sat in silence. I see you, Laura said quietly. Ronnie's hand tightened on the steering wheel. And what do you see? Laura thought about the past 4 days. The protection, the violence, the obsessive attention. The way Ronnie had saved Michelle without hesitation. The way he'd kissed her in the panic room like she was the only thing keeping him human. I see someone who's been alone for too long, Laura said. Someone who doesn't know how to connect with people except through control. Someone who's terrified that if he shows weakness, everything he's built will fall apart. Ronnie's expression cracked, just slightly. You see too much. Maybe. Laura reached over and took his bruised hand. Or maybe I see exactly what you wanted me to see. The man behind the monster. I am a monster, Laura. I know. She lifted his hand to her lips, kissing his scarred knuckles. But maybe I'm okay with that. 3 days at the safe house taught Laura what it meant to exist in Ronnie's world without bodyguards and bulletproof glass. Here, it was just them, and the fiction they'd both been maintaining crumbled. Ronnie cooked breakfast, simple, efficient, surprisingly good. They ate together on the deck overlooking the forest, and Laura found herself telling him about her childhood, dreams of traveling, fear she'd never be more than what she was. You're already more, Ronnie said, pouring coffee. You just don't see it yet. Because I kissed you at a gala. Because you survived 4 days in my world without breaking. His dark eyes held hers. Most people meet me and see only the monster. You see the man. Laura felt her cheeks warm. Maybe I'm just delusional. Or maybe you're exactly what I've been waiting for. The moment stretched between them, charged with possibility. Then Ronnie's phone buzzed. It's time, Ronnie said after reading the message. The Blackwoods have requested a meeting. Why? To negotiate a truce. Too many of their men died in the penthouse attack. They want to end the war before more blood is spilled. Laura set down her cup. And you trust them? I don't trust anyone. Ronnie's smile was cold. But I'll hear what they have to say. And you're coming with me. What? No. I should stay where it's safe. There is no safe anymore, Laura. They know about this place, about every place I own. The only safe location is by my side. He stood, extending his hand. Besides, they asked to meet you. Why? Because you're what this war is about. They need to see that I won't trade you for peace. That you're worth more to me than any treaty. They drove to a restaurant on neutral ground, a high-end establishment both families had invested in, theoretically off-limits for violence. Laura wore a dress Ronnie had procured, elegant but not ostentatious. She felt like she was going to her execution. Inside, the restaurant had been cleared. At a table in the center sat 3 men in expensive suits, expressions carefully neutral. Behind them stood 6 guards. Lawson, the man in the center said. And the infamous Laura Mills. Vincent Blackwood. Ronnie's hand settled on Laura's lower back, proprietary. I hear you wanted a meeting. Sit. Let's discuss how to end this unfortunate conflict. They sat, and Laura felt the weight of a dozen eyes on her. Studying, calculating her worth, measuring her as potential target or bargaining chip. You've cost us 17 men, Vincent said without preamble. For one woman. Some might say that's excessive. Some might say kidnapping my woman and attacking my home was a declaration of war, Ronnie countered smoothly. I merely responded in kind. Your woman. Vincent's eyes moved to Laura. Tell me, Miss Mills, did you choose this? Or did the law simply decide you were his? Laura felt Ronnie tense, but she spoke first. I kissed him first. Whatever happened after was my choice. Interesting. Vincent leaned back. And you're happy, living under Lawson's control? Knowing that people die because of your connection to him? No one is happy about death, Laura said carefully. But I understand it comes with the territory. Does it? Vincent smiled without warmth. And what if we offered you a different territory? Protection without the violence. Freedom without the cage. Vincent, Ronnie's voice carried a warning. I'm simply pointing out alternatives. Vincent's attention remained on Laura. You could walk away from this, Miss Mills. We'd ensure your safety, give you a new identity, let you live the life you had before one impulsive kiss. Laura felt the offer hanging in the air, tempting and terrible. A way out. A return to normalcy. Everything she'd thought she wanted 4 days ago. She looked at Ronnie. His expression was controlled, but she saw tension in his jaw, the way his hand had curled into a fist. He was preparing for her to choose freedom. No, Laura said. Vincent's eyebrows rose. No? I'm exactly where I choose to be. Laura reached over and covered Ronnie's fist with her hand, feeling his fingers slowly uncurl. Whatever else this is, it's my choice. Something shifted in the room. Vincent studied them both, then slowly nodded. Very well. Then let's discuss terms. The negotiation took an hour. Territory divisions, compensation for lost men, agreements about future conflicts. Laura only half listened, too aware of Ronnie's hand now holding hers under the table, thumb tracing patterns on her palm. She'd chosen him. Consciously, with full knowledge. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. They were leaving when it happened. Gunfire came from everywhere at once, from cars on the street, from windows in surrounding buildings. Not from the Blackwoods, but from somewhere else. A third party who'd used the meeting as an opportunity to strike. Ronnie threw Laura to the ground, his body covering hers as bullets shredded the restaurant's windows. Glass exploded inward. She heard screams from Blackwood men caught by surprise. Stay down! Ronnie shouted, returning fire at the cars. Vincent Blackwood was beside them, also shooting, his carefully neutral expression replaced by rage. This wasn't us. Vincent yelled at Ronnie. Someone set us up. The Castellanos, Ronnie spat. They want us both dead. More gunfire. Laura pressed herself flat against the pavement, feeling Ronnie's weight above her, his gun firing in controlled bursts. This wasn't like the penthouse attack. This was coordinated, professional, meant to kill everyone present. Laura. Ronnie's voice was urgent. There's a gun in my ankle holster. Can you reach it? Laura's hands were shaking, but she managed to find the weapon. It was smaller than Ronnie's, cold and heavy in her palm. If anyone gets past me, Ronnie said, eyes on the attackers, you shoot them. Understand? I've never. You will if you have to. He fired again, and one attacker dropped. Trust yourself, Laura. The fight seemed to last forever. Laura lay there with the gun, watching Ronnie and Vincent work together to hold off the ambush. She saw one attacker circling around, trying to flank them, and something in her brain just clicked. She aimed. Squeezed the trigger. The recoil shocked her, but the attacker went down, clutching his leg. Ronnie glanced at her, surprise and something like pride flashing across his face. Good girl, he said. They fought their way to Ronnie's car, leaving bodies and chaos behind. Vincent Blackwood shouted something about a temporary alliance, but Laura couldn't hear over the ringing in her ears. Ronnie sped away, expression grim. Laura stared at her shaking hands, at the gun still clutched in her fingers. I shot someone, she whispered. You protected yourself. Ronnie reached over and gently took the gun, securing it. That's all that matters. I could have killed him. But you didn't. You aimed for his leg, even in the heat of the moment. That takes control, Laura. Laura felt tears burning her eyes. This is insane. This is all insane. I know. Ronnie's hand found hers again. But you're still here. Still alive. Still mine. Laura didn't argue. Couldn't argue. Because somewhere between the penthouse and the restaurant, between the panic room and pulling that trigger, she'd stopped trying to escape Ronnie's world. She'd started learning how to survive in it. They returned to a different safe house, this one in the city, hidden in plain sight among luxury apartments. Ronnie had owned it for years, he explained, using it when he needed to disappear. Laura took a long shower, washing away gunpowder and fear. When she emerged, Ronnie was on the phone, voice clipped and cold as he coordinated about the Castellano attack. They're getting bold, he said after ending the call. Targeting both me and Blackwood at once. They're trying to start a full-scale war. Will it work? Laura asked, toweling her hair. Not if I can help it. Ronnie poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handing her one. Vincent and I have history. We've been rivals for years. But we both understand the value of not letting a third party manipulate us into destroying each other. Laura sipped the whiskey, letting it burn away some of the adrenaline. What happens now? Now we figure out who hired the Castellanos and why. Ronnie sat beside her, close enough that their shoulders touched. But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, I just want to make sure you're okay. I shot someone, Laura said, staring into her glass. I actually pulled the trigger. You saved your own life. Ronnie's hand covered hers. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But I'm not the kind of person who shoots people. You weren't, Ronnie corrected gently. But you are now. You're adapting, Laura. Learning to survive in my world. Most people couldn't do that. The doorbell interrupted her response. Ronnie's expression hardened instantly, his hand moving to his gun. Stay here, he ordered, moving toward the door. Through the security monitor, Laura saw who was outside and her blood ran cold. Derek. Her ex-boyfriend stood in the hallway, looking disheveled and desperate. Before Laura could stop him, Ronnie opened the door. Matthews. Ronnie's voice was dangerously calm. You're trespassing. I need to talk to Laura. Derek's eyes found her across the room. Please, just 5 minutes. No. Ronnie started to close the door, but Derek pushed against it. Laura, please. I'm trying to save you. Save her? Ronnie's laugh was cold. From what exactly? From you. Derek's voice cracked. Everyone knows what you are, Lawson. A killer. A criminal. Laura doesn't belong in your world. And yet here she is. Ronnie's hand tightened on the door. Because she chose to be. She didn't choose, Derek's eyes pleaded with Laura. Laura, come on. This is insane. You kissed him to make me jealous, and now you're trapped with a monster. Just walk away. I'll protect you. You? Laura found her voice, steadier than expected. You'll protect me? Derek, you cheated on me with your secretary and then expected me to forgive you. You don't get to pretend you care about my safety now. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Laura stood, moving to stand beside Ronnie. Just like I'm making mine now. Derek stared at her, incomprehension warring with desperation. You actually want to stay with him? Yes. Why? Because he's rich? Powerful? Laura, he's dangerous. I know what he is. Laura's hand found Ronnie's arm. And I'm choosing him anyway. You're insane. Derek's expression turned ugly. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. Laura met his gaze steadily. But it'll be my choice. Not yours. Not anyone's but mine. Derek looked between them, then seemed to deflate. I tried, he muttered. When they find you dead, at least I can say I tried to save you. Who's they? Ronnie's voice turned sharp. Who sent you here, Matthews? No one. I came because Ronnie moved faster than Laura could track, grabbing Derek by the throat and slamming him against the hallway wall. Who sent you? I can't, Derek choked. They'll kill me. I'll kill you right now if you don't answer. Ronnie's grip tightened. Last chance. The Castellanos. Derek gasped. They approached me after the gala, said if I could get Laura away from you, they'd pay me. I'm in debt, I needed the money. Ronnie released him, and Derek crumpled to the floor. So you sold her? To the same family that just tried to kill us both at a restaurant. I didn't know they were going to, I thought they just wanted information. Get out. Ronnie's voice was ice. And if you ever come near Laura again, if you so much as think about her, I will end you. Understood? Derek scrambled to his feet and ran. Ronnie closed the door, expression murderous. Laura expected him to be angry, to rage about the betrayal. Instead, he just pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry you had to see that, he said quietly. It's not your fault, Derek's an idiot. Laura pressed her face against his chest, feeling his heart beating steady and strong. He chose money over my safety. That's on him. He chose wrong. Ronnie's arms tightened around her. The Castellanos will use his debt to keep him talking. Which means we need to move again. Tonight. Laura looked up at him. Where? Somewhere they'd never think to look. Ronnie's smile was grim. Somewhere I've been saving for exactly this situation. And then I end this. Once and for all. His hand cupped her face. But first, I need to ask you something. What? Are you sure? Ronnie's eyes searched hers. Because after tonight, after you stood beside me and chose me in front of your ex, there's no going back. You'll be in this world completely. No more pretending it's temporary. Laura thought about Derek's fear, his desperate attempt to save her from a danger he couldn't understand. She thought about the gun in her hand, the way pulling that trigger had felt both terrifying and necessary. She thought about Ronnie, the monster who cooked her breakfast, the killer who held her gently, the man who'd watched her for 6 months just to make sure she was safe. I'm sure, Laura said. Ronnie kissed her then, and it wasn't like the kiss at the gala. That had been performance, impulse, desperation. This was choice. This was acceptance. This was Laura Mills stepping fully into Ronnie Lawson's world and deciding to stay. When they broke apart, Ronnie's expression had shifted to something she'd never seen before, hope. Then let's go, he said. We have a war to end. Ronnie's final safe house wasn't in the city or hidden in the forest. It was a fortress, a converted military bunker he'd transformed into something livable while maintaining defensive capabilities. 20 feet of reinforced concrete, multiple security layers, enough supplies to survive a siege. This is where we make our stand, Ronnie said, showing Laura through the space. The Castellanos know most of my properties, but this one has been off the books for 5 years. By the time they find it, we'll be ready. Ready for what? Laura asked, taking in the weapons vault, surveillance room, provisions that could last months. To end them. Ronnie's expression was hard. They made their move at the restaurant. Now I make mine. He spent the next 2 days coordinating with Vincent Blackwood, planning something he called the Purge. Laura listened to phone calls and strategy sessions, learning the language of Ronnie's world. Territory. Assets. Leverage. Violence wrapped in business terms. On the 3rd day, Ronnie's intel came through. The Castellanos were planning a final assault, not just on him, but on every property he owned, every person he cared about. They were trying to destroy his entire empire in one coordinated attack. Let them come, Ronnie said, studying surveillance feeds. We'll be waiting. Laura watched him work, saw the way his men responded to his orders with absolute loyalty. This was Ronnie in his element, not the gentleman who made her breakfast, but the law, the king of his empire. I want to help, Laura said. Ronnie looked at her sharply. No. I'm not helpless. I proved that at the restaurant. You proved you can pull a trigger in an emergency. That doesn't mean you're ready for war. Then teach me. Laura crossed her arms. You said I was adapting. Let me adapt all the way. They argued for an hour, but eventually Ronnie gave in. He taught her to properly hold and fire various weapons, to move through the bunker's corridors tactically, to recognize threats. Laura absorbed it all, driven by a desperate need to be useful, to be more than the reason for the violence. The attack came on the 4th night. Ronnie's surveillance system picked up the convoy before it reached the bunker, 6 vehicles, at least 30 men. The Castellanos had brought their entire force. They think we're alone, Ronnie said, watching the monitors. They don't know Vincent's men are already in position around the perimeter. It was a trap within a trap. The Castellanos thought they were launching a surprise assault. Instead, they'd be caught in a crossfire. Stay in the safe room, Ronnie ordered Laura, pressing a key card into her hand. No matter what you hear, don't come out until I come for you. Ronnie. He kissed her, hard and desperate. I will come back for you. I promise. Then he was gone, and Laura was alone in the reinforced safe room, watching the battle unfold on monitors. The gunfire started at exactly midnight. The Castellanos breached the outer perimeter, only to be met by Vincent's men hidden in the tree line. Ronnie's own forces engaged from the bunker's gun ports, creating a kill zone the attackers couldn't escape. Laura watched Ronnie on the monitors, moving through the chaos with deadly precision. He wasn't just defending, he was hunting, picking off the Castellano leadership one by one. Then one monitor went dark. Then another. Someone was taking out the cameras systematically. Laura's pulse spiked. That meant someone had gotten inside, was moving through the bunker toward her location. Ronnie couldn't know, he was still outside, fighting. The safe room door had a single reinforced entrance. Laura positioned herself with a weapon Ronnie had left her, waiting. The door's keypad beeped. Someone was trying to override it. Laura aimed at the door, her hands steadier than they'd been at the restaurant. If someone came through, she would shoot. No hesitation. No mercy. The door opened. A man she didn't recognize stepped through, weapon raised. Laura fired before he could, hitting him in the shoulder. He spun with the impact, and she fired again, this time at his leg. He went down, screaming. Laura kept the gun trained on him, entire body shaking with adrenaline. She'd done it. She'd actually defended herself, alone, against a trained killer. Footsteps in the corridor. More men. Laura backed further into the safe room, calculating. She had limited ammunition, no backup, and enemies closing in. This was it, the moment where she either proved she belonged in Ronnie's world or died trying. The first man through the door after the fallen one dropped immediately, Laura's bullet found his chest. The second hesitated, giving her time to adjust her aim. She fired, missed, fired again. He went down. Then Ronnie was there, appearing behind the fallen attackers like an avenging angel. His eyes found Laura, still holding the gun, still standing over 3 bodies. "Are you hurt?" he demanded. "No. They came for me and Laura looked at the bodies, at what she'd done. "I stopped them." Ronnie crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. "You magnificent, terrifying woman." Outside, the gunfire had stopped. Through the monitors still functioning, Laura could see bodies littering the grounds. The Castellano attack had been decimated. "It's over," Ronnie said quietly. "We got their leadership. Their operation is finished." Laura looked up at him, still holding the gun. "I killed people. You survived." Ronnie gently took the weapon from her hands. "That's all that matters." They emerged from the safe room to find Vincent Blackwood surveying the aftermath, his expression grim but satisfied. "The Castellanos are done," Vincent said. "Scattered. Those who didn't die tonight will be running for the rest of their lives." Ronnie nodded. "And the treaty between us?" "Honored." "You kept your word, Lawson." "So will I." Vincent's eyes moved to Laura. "And you, Miss Mills. You've proven more formidable than any of us anticipated." Laura didn't know how to respond. She just killed 3 men in a bunker while watching the man she was falling for wage war on her behalf. Nothing about her life made sense anymore. "Come on," Ronnie said softly, guiding her away from the bodies. "Let's go home." 2 weeks after the siege, Laura stood in front of a mirror in a dress that cost more than she used to make in 6 months. White silk, elegant without being ostentatious, perfect for what Ronnie was calling the coronation. Not a wedding. A coronation. "You ready?" Ronnie appeared behind her in the mirror, dressed in a black suit that made him look dangerous and devastating in equal measure. "I don't know what I'm ready for," Laura admitted. "You still haven't explained what this actually is." "It's an introduction." Ronnie's hand settled on her shoulders. "To every family, every organization, every person who matters in this city. It's me formally presenting you as my equal. My partner. My queen." Laura turned to face him. "Your queen." "Yes." Ronnie's expression was serious. "Not my property. Not my possession. My equal partner in everything I control. That's what tonight means." They'd spent the past 2 weeks rebuilding. Not just properties or business relationships, but themselves. Laura had moved her few remaining possessions into Ronnie's primary residence, not the destroyed penthouse, but a historic mansion that felt less like a fortress and more like a home. She'd started taking business classes online, learning the legitimate side of Ronnie's operations. She'd trained with his security team, learning to defend herself properly. She'd slowly transformed from the woman who kissed a stranger at a gala into someone who could stand beside Ronnie Lawson without flinching. The ballroom at the Grandview Hotel was the same one where this had all started, but tonight it looked different. Not desperate or performative, but powerful. Every influential figure in the city was present, from legitimate business owners to the heads of the 5 families. When Ronnie and Laura entered, the room fell silent. For those who don't know, Ronnie's voice carried across the space, "This is Laura Mills. 2 weeks ago, she defended my home against 15 armed attackers. Before that, she survived 3 assassination attempts, a kidnapping, and being claimed by me at this very gala." Low laughter rippled through the crowd, but it was respectful, almost admiring. "Some of you thought she was a weakness," Ronnie continued, his hand at Laura's back. "A pretty distraction I'd tire of quickly. You were wrong. Laura Mills is my partner. My equal. And anyone who forgets that will answer to both of us." He turned to Laura then, in front of everyone, and lowered himself to one knee. Laura's breath caught. "What are you doing?" "Something I should have done weeks ago." Ronnie pulled out a ring, not ostentatious, but elegant. A diamond surrounded by sapphires the color of midnight. "Laura Mills, I'm not asking you to marry me because of a bet or a kiss or because I need you to be safe. I'm asking because somewhere between stalking you for 6 months and watching you shoot your way through my enemies, I fell completely in love with you." The ballroom was silent. Laura felt tears burning her eyes. "You're insane," she whispered. "I know." Ronnie's smile was crooked, vulnerable. "But I'm your kind of insane. So what do you say? Will you be my queen? Not because you have to, but because you want to." Laura thought about Derek, about the woman she'd been 2 weeks ago who just wanted to make an ex-boyfriend jealous. That woman wouldn't have recognized who she'd become, someone who could pull a trigger, who could stand in a room full of criminals and feel like she belonged, who could look at a mafia boss and see not a monster but a man. "Yes," Laura said. The ballroom erupted in applause as Ronnie slid the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into a kiss that was nothing like their first. No performance, no desperation. Just 2 people who'd found each other in the most impossible circumstances and decided to make it work. When they broke apart, Laura saw familiar faces in the crowd. Vincent Blackwood raised his glass in acknowledgement. Michelle, who'd forgiven Laura and accepted the new reality, was crying happy tears. Even some of Ronnie's hardened soldiers looked vaguely emotional. "So what now?" Laura asked as they moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations. "Now we build," Ronnie said. "Together. An empire that's as much yours as mine. I still don't really know what I'm doing. Neither did I when I started." Ronnie's hand squeezed hers. But I had something you have, the will to survive and the courage to adapt. That's all anyone needs. They danced, and Laura felt the eyes of everyone who mattered on them. Not judging, but witnessing. This was real now, official. She was Ronnie Lawson's queen, his equal, his partner. Later, as they left the gala to return to their mansion, Laura looked back at the hotel where it had all started. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "That night I kissed you." Ronnie's smile was genuine, warm. "Never. That kiss was the best thing that ever happened to me. Even with all the violence. The attacks. The siege. Especially because of those things." Ronnie stopped, turning her to face him. "Because they proved that you're strong enough to stand beside me. That you're not some delicate thing I need to protect, you're a warrior who chose to fight at my side." Laura kissed him, there on the street outside the hotel, and it felt like a beginning rather than an end. She'd come to that gala to make a statement. To prove she wasn't Derek's victim, wasn't someone who could be discarded and forgotten. Instead, she'd found something she never expected, a kingdom, a partner, and a love forged in blood and steel. The girl who kissed a mafia boss to make her ex jealous had become the queen who ruled beside him. And she wouldn't change a single moment of it. The end.
Hope you enjoyed this story. Stay tuned for more interesting and captivating tales. Please like, subscribe and share.